roller towel dispenser. The sink was clean, but there didn't seem to be a plug. Hello? Anybody in there? No answer, so I gave it a push. The design of the toilet was a little different from what I was used to, but a toilet chain is a toilet chain all over the world. Oops. And I thought the French had strange toilets. I hadn't drunk anything since the morning, and I didn't need to use it. It was the short length of chain I'd taken from a toilet at the Club Alamut. The mirror was as clean as anything else in there. How did this guy make a living selling useless old machine parts in the middle of nowhere? He didn't have anything that I needed. Nejo was a strange one, all right. He was smart, but a simple ball could still keep him happy. Hi, Nejo.
Hello again, sir. And how may I help you this time?
What does this toilet chain mean to you?
Are you building a bathroom in easy installments?
Do you recognize these keys?
No.
They're to a toilet.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
So long, Nejo.
Poodle pip, sir.
The stand was selling some fruit I didn't recognize. This is what travel is all about. Roam the world and discover strange fruit. I wasn't hungry and didn't want to buy fruit, so I didn't start a conversation.
Praise be to Allah. I am blessed with your bountiful presence once more.
What does this toilet chain mean to you?
You got brush back so you could steal chain? You're sure strange cookie, mister, yes?
See you around, Ultar.
Fare you most splendid, good sir.
Hi there, Dwayne.
Hi there, George. How can I help you, young fella?
What does this toilet chain mean to you?
It means that somewhere somebody can't flush the toilet.
Okay, well, I'll see you around, Dwayne.
Count on it, George.
Hello again, Pearl.
Why, hello, George. It's such a pleasure to see you again.
What do you think of this toilet chain?
My, but you're a strange one, George.
I've got to go now, Pearl.
It's been a pleasure, George. Don't be a stranger.
Hello again, sir.
Filthy! Bad!
Okay, I'm going. I wasn't sure whether I wanted anything off that shelf. That statuette was the nearest thing to an antiquity I'd seen, but it still looked like a cheap plaster copy to me. The cat was an ugly brute who looked like he owned the joint. Hi, Nijo.
Hello again, sir. And how may I help you this time?
What happened to your ball, Nijo?
I regret to say that it has been confiscated by my father.
Oh, Nijo, I'm sorry.
Not to worry, sir. Soon he will forget why he has the ball and put it on the stand, at which point I shall recover it.
I'm sorry about the statuette being broken as well.
Again, do not fret, sir. It has been on the shelf for a long time. As merchandise, it did not have legs.
Now it hasn't got any arms either.
Very droll, sir.
This plaster was very useful in Ireland.
Really? Your fund of travelers' tales never ceases to enthrall me. A comedian. No surprise there.
See you around, Nijo.
Ta-ta for now, sir.
The fall hadn't done the statuette much good. It had lost its arms and gotten pretty chipped. The statuette looked pretty sorry for itself after its fall, chipped with both arms broken off. That is not a good idea. Hello again, Pearl.
Why, hello, George. It's such a pleasure to see you again.
Are you interested in antiquities?
I know. What have you got there, George?
How about this fine statuette?
Oh, George, that would be ideal, except, I don't know. It looks new, George. You wouldn't be trying to make a fool out of me, would you, George?
Good God, no, Pearl. Nothing could be further from my mind. I've got to go now, Pearl.
It's been a pleasure, George. Don't be a stranger.
Hi there, Dwayne.
Hi there, George. How can I help you, young fella?
What do you think of this?
Looks like the kind of thing Pearl might be interested in. Not old enough, though.
Okay, well, I'll see you around, Dwayne.
Count on it, George.
Hi, Nijo.
Hello again, sir. And how may I help you this time?
May I have this statuette? It is broken, after all.
Certainly. And when my father deals with that feline for breaking it, you can have a Davy Crockett hat as well.
So long, Nijo.
Hoodle pip, sir.
Hello again, Pearl.
Why, hello, George. It's such a pleasure to see you again.
Nothing. It's okay. The stand was hawking ancient machine parts that seemed to be from a stripped-down printing press. I couldn't imagine where they'd come from or who'd want them. The plaster seemed to soak up the grease paint until it began to look like stone. The grease paint had worked magic. Now it looked like aged marble instead of cheap plaster. Hello again, Pearl.
Why, hello, George. It's such a pleasure to see you again.
What do you think of this fine piece of ancient statuary?
Oh, Matt, that's just what I've been looking for. Just one thing, though.
Oh?
It looks awful similar to that modern one you showed me.
Ah, well, that's because... You see, that's because the first one I showed you was a modern copy of this one. And I sought out the artist who'd done the copy and bought the original. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, George, how can you ever forgive me?
There's nothing to forgive, believe me. Would you like it?
Would I ever? I'm not carrying the money, though. If you go and find Dwayne, he'll pay you for it. If he gives you any trouble, just tell him that I want it.
I've got to go now, Pearl.
It's been a pleasure, George.
Don't be a stranger.
Hi there, Dwayne.
Hi there, George. How can I help you, young fella?
What do you think of this?
Good gravy. Looks old.
Yeah, I had to turn this town upside down.
Boy, your luck's better than ours. Looks Roman.
I wouldn't know.
What'll they say back home? How much do you want, George?
Oh, I couldn't. It's the find of a lifetime. I mean,
$50. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. Here you go.
And here you go.
Okay, well, I'll see you around, Dwayne.
Count on it, George.
Hello again, Ultar.
Praise be to Allah. I am blessed with your bountiful presence once more.
About Bull's Head Hill.
Are you desirous of seeing this most splendid place?
Well, maybe.
A terrific bargain. Only 50 of your Yankee bucks.
50, huh? Okay, it's a deal. Here's the cash.
Ah, most splendid. As you say, the cash price mullah is correct. Mister, we make with haste.
Where exactly is your taxi? Because the only vehicle I can see around here is an aging Army surplus truck.
Yes?
Ah, okay. I'll be along in a minute. It didn't seem right to take off with the toilet keys, so I left them on the bar. Hello again, Ultar.
His most splendid and adventurous client.
That's your taxi?
Oh, yes, most assuredly. Most entirely splendid taxi in all Marib.
It looks like an old Army truck to me.
Bah! You Americans with your checkerboard caps and your Judd Hershes. You have lost sight of what a taxi should truly be.
About 4 tons by the look of it.
There, you have hit the nail in the nutshell.
Okay, already, let's go.
Regrettably not, most esteemed pair. There is a minor problem of a tiny nature. The fan belt has taken it upon itself to break.
So, what are you gonna do?
What can I do? I must wait for a ride to the garage for a replacement.
How long is that gonna take?
1 day, maybe 6.
I can't wait that long. We gotta get moving.
But how, my friend?
I'll think of something. What does this toilet chain mean to you?
You got brush back so you could steal chain? You're sure strange cookie, mister, yes?
What do you think of this?
Is gadget
It's a blood pressure gauge.
blood pressure gauge. Is what Ultar said.
Bye for now, Ultar.
May good fortune follow you, mister.
The stand was hawking ancient machine parts. Ultar was standing around at a loose end. I had a feeling that something was wrong. Again. Hello again, Ultar.
His most splendid and adventurous client.
See you around, Ultar.
Fare you most splendid, good sir.
There didn't seem much point in closing the dispenser. Even closed, it would be obviously empty. Hello again, Ultar.
His most splendid and adventurous client.
Is this any use to you?
My friend, the very thing, yes.
Ultar took the towel from me, cut it in two lengthways, and gave me half back. With his half, he did the kind of fan belt replacement that's normally done with stockings.
Now, if I knot the ends together, so... Serviceable, yes? Very serviceable indeed.
Stockings might work on a Bentley, but on a truck, the coarse toweling did the job nicely.
Come along, my friend. You want to see the bull's head? Yes?
Centuries of hot days and cold nights had opened a crack in the cliff edge, deep into the living rock. A young tree grew at the edge of the drop. I'd damaged that tree enough for one day. Centuries of hot days and cold nights had opened a crack in the cliff edge, deep into the living rock. With a flourish, I tied the end of the towel to the stick with a textbook reef knot. I was now in possession of the patented Stobart stick towel. If I could only think of a use for it. I could see that crack would make a good anchor point. Well, that looked really safe. But I had no choice. I hadn't anticipated going mountaineering when I'd come to Syria. Close up, the niche looked somehow artificial. I didn't like the idea of putting my hand in there. But there was something in there. A metal ring, as wide as my hand. This country sure was beautiful. I'd have to visit again sometime when I wasn't in such a hurry. Down below, I could see the top of Ultar's soft-top truck. Seemed a hell of a long way down. I took a firm hold of the ring and pulled. Whoa there! A secret door. All I needed now was Vincent Price to loom up out of the dark for my day to be complete. The work that had gone into this place was impressive. I had to hand it to the Templars. When they built a secret cave, they built a quality secret cave. The work that had gone into this place was impressive. I had to hand it to the Templars. When they built a secret cave, they built a quality secret cave. Without explosives or a pickaxe, there wasn't a whole bundle I could do to the brickwork. Around the corner, I found the corpse. Oh my God. Klausner? Large as life and twice as dead. I'd hardly had time to accept the fact when I heard the door mechanism start up again. Oh man, no! The door had slammed shut, trapping me. I had a bad feeling about how Klausner had died. A stone head bearing 3 bearded faces. It was a strange image, but a powerful one, redolent with antiquity and ancient mysteries. Sure was an ugly one, though. I couldn't think of anything to do with the statue, apart from scaring small children with it. Without getting too close, I couldn't see any marks of violence, apart from his fingertips being scraped raw, and that seemed self-inflicted. Klausner had been pretty smart to get this far, but he was still dead. Okay, all right. Hey, what's this? I'd found some kind of lens, a very old lens made from a very hard glass. That settled it. The knight on the manuscript had been holding a lens the whole time, not a crystal ball. I'd searched Klausner once and knew that the lens was the only thing he'd been carrying. No portable phone, no demolition charges, no 5-course meal. You'd think international conspirators would go around better equipped. Up on the wall was an inscription, partially eroded by the ages. Something, in accidenta cita est in ora mundi. The Latin was clear enough, but what did it mean? The mouth's opening. It must be Ultar. My God, if he comes in, we'll both be trapped. Ultar, don't come in. It's a trap. Stay where you are. You.
Hello, Mr. Stobart. We meet in the most unusual places. Please, do not make any sudden moves. I have no desire to maim you.
Did you say maim?
I did. Dead men tell no tales, as you say. And I want to hear everything that you have to tell.
And what if I don't want to talk?
Then I shall, most regrettably, have to kill you. Rest assured, however, that I am an excellent shot you would not suffer.
Oh, that's good. Believe me, I'm really assured.
It is rather dark in here. I think we should conduct our business outside.
Why should I make myself an easier target?
If I fire at you, Mr. Stobart, I shall hit you even in here. But unfortunately, my marksmanship will suffer. It could be the difference between hitting you in the leg or the groin.
Boy, it sure is hot in here.
No sudden moves, Mr. Stobart. Now then, where shall we start?
How about being bosom buddies and you putting that gun away?
Klausner, do you know where he is?
Klausner? Who the hell's Klausner?
I followed his trail here, as I believe did you.
I never heard of this Klausner guy before. I just asked around about strangers and got lucky.
Luck is a commodity that you are sorely pressed for now, Mr. Stobart. I have been watching you since you arrived in Marib.
You have? I never noticed you.
Precisely my point. You don't know what I know. Please bear this in mind when answering my next questions. Now, where is Klausner?
Okay, he's dead, just around the corner of the cave. Do you want to look?
I shall trust you on that. How did he die?
Starvation or dehydration by the look of it.
He was caught in this trap you were shouting about. Yes, I suspected as much. The Templars were not ones to give away their secrets lightly. Was he carrying anything of importance?
No, nothing.
So, why is this location important? What did the Templars hide here if not an artifact?
Well, there is something, I guess, but you can't move it.
Yes? What is it?
It's a treasure map. Yeah, X marks the spot.
Come now, do you expect me to believe that?
Yeah, okay. You caught me. But round the corner, there is something in Latin up on the wall.
Latin? Do you remember it, Mr. Stobart?
In acadenta cita est, in ora mundi.
Ah, the words of Caesar. Yes, that makes sense.
Well, I know that roughly it means to the west, to the edge of the world. But what the heck is that about?
It tells me where the sword of Baphomet lies. Mr. Stobart, I am sure that you are just what you appear to be. A gifted amateur.
Thanks, I think.
But I can no longer tolerate your interference. There is far more at stake than you realize.
So what are you going to do?
I regret that we must end this here and now. Your only choice now is whether you die like a man or like a dog.
Okay, you're the boss. I'll take my medicine.
You are an honorable man, Mr. Stobart, a rare breed. I should like to shake your hand.
Yeah. Well, what the heck? It was a long way down. Below, I could see Ultar's truck. Luckily, the canopy on Ultar's truck broke my fall.
Thank goodness for that.
The worst part of the experience was Ultar's driving.
What about the lens? Is it still in one piece?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's good to see you again, Josh.
Really? Well, I have to say, I'd have enjoyed Syria a lot more if you'd been there.
I wouldn't have been much help. Anyway, you did just fine on your own.
Have you any idea what this lens might be used for?
As a magnifying glass, obviously. I'm sure you'll find it very useful.
Let's take another look at the manuscript. The Night Scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, you will be enlightened. And that's not a crystal ball. It's the lens I found in Marib. That's the face of the statue I saw at the bull's head. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Okay.
A priest stood by the pews, energetically polishing something. Excuse me, Father.
Pardon?
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Not at all, monsieur. It will be my pleasure to help you.
I noticed that the stained glass window on the left looks more modern than the middle one.
You have a keen eye, monsieur. The original window was destroyed in the last war. It was as old as the church, early 14th century.
Oh, man, that's awful.
Oui, a terrible loss. Still, the church and the other windows survived.
Is the right-hand window original?
Oui, monsieur.
You must be proud to have such an incredible collection of stained glass.
Pride is a sin, monsieur, but it is hard not to marvel when the light shines through them. It is a fine example of the artisan's genius.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
You have come to the right place, if that is your interest. Many of them were executed in the square outside. It was a disgrace to France.
Well, the Pope was right behind it, though.
Clement V was a man of mammon, not of God.
That's kind of forthright for a priest, isn't it?
You think so? It is hard to be sure what happened. It is so long ago.
How long have you worked here?
Hardly work, monsieur. This is a calling. I have been helping Father Flambert for nearly 6 months now.
I guess you don't know much about the history of this church, then.
Just a little.
You've got quite a shine on that candlestick.
Ah, oui. Anything less than best would be an insult to the Almighty.
I guess so. I never thought of it like that. Have you ever seen anything like this lens?
No, never. The glass seems subtly colored in some way.
Yeah, I've never noticed that before. There's grease paint on this tissue.
Oui, You are correct.
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
The lens fitted into the end of the scroll like a hand into a glove. Hey! A Knight Templar burning at the stake, and a date. Let me see. MCCCXIV. That's 1314. Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
Did you know that the center window conceals an image of a man burning at the stake?
The Burning Man?
What, you knew?
That there was a hidden image? No. But the church has a reputation for being haunted. Many times, people have claimed to have seen the Burning Man in the window. But when others they look, there is nothing. Perhaps the light has to be just so for the figure to appear.
Yeah, or maybe you need a special lens. Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
I didn't have time to sit around. A row of old pews, beautifully carved and glowing with polish. I thought of all the people who must have sat here over the decades. All those Parisian derrieres, firm buttocks of the young ladies, the flabby flesh of the old men. That wasn't a pleasing image, so I went back to the young ladies. Whoa! A knight's tomb, his effigy in marble lying in perpetual state, waiting in prayer for the judgment day. Biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world, I guess. Just think, there's a dead guy under there. I was surprised Philip Lebel had left this place alone. Carrying all that armor around must have been hard work. I wondered if this guy had died in combat. The Templars were demonstrating a pretty good grasp of physics. If the dissolution hadn't happened, we'd have had cold fusion power last century. On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. Around the base of the disc was a hairline crack. Well, I could have just taken the end off the staff, but I wanted to be sure what I'd be getting out of vandalizing a church, other than deported. A Knight Templar burning at the stake, and a date. A huge stained glass window formed a magnificent centerpiece for its neighbors. To think of the long centuries that had kept it secret. All the thousands of people who must have been through here and seen it without once suspecting. A huge arched window. Somehow it looked more modern than its neighbor. In comparison to its neighbor, it looked pretty plain. You're back.
Oui, I have returned.
Hello again.
Hello again, monsieur.
Well, I wasn't expecting to see you back here again.
No? Well, it is a strange thing, but I am here on duty.
On duty? But you're just sitting there drinking wine.
No, I am not just drinking wine. I am undercover.
I must be missing something. You're in uniform.
Precisely, monsieur. My cover is that of an indolent, wine-guzzling police officer.
You've got me convinced.
Merci. But in reality, my every muscle is poised, every nerve honed. I am drawn tight, ready to pounce. Dang!
Who or what were you planning to pizzang on?
You must have heard, monsieur, of the terror that is gripping Paris.
You mean the killings? Oh, at last, someone's taken action.
People die every day. No, I am on the trail of Sewer Jacques.
Who?
Sewer Jacques, the terror of the subterranean city. He pops up here, he pops up there. The cops, they seek him everywhere. Is he so hush or beneath the neck? That damned elusive Sewer Jacques.
Bravo, that's very good.
Merci. I was up half the night writing that.
Who is this Sewer Jacques character anyway?
Ah, if we but knew that, we could have him in custody in an hour. But he is cunning. To despoil the sewers of our fair city, he has committed many deceptions. He has pretended to be a police officer and deluded a poor war veteran.
Uh-oh.
He has pretended to be a jongleur
Wow, is that the time?
and an American tourist. What nationality are you, monsieur?
Canadian. Well, gotta go now. See ya. Well, it's not everyone who can say they started an urban myth. The case was empty. Hi, Andre.
Hello, Georgie.
What's with the long face?
Haven't you heard? The tripod was stolen.
No kidding.
I just don't get it. So many other treasures, and the thieves choose the tripod.
A modern-day alchemist, perhaps?
Who knows? There's no shortage of crazies in Paris. Hey, I visited Nicole's apartment.
Yeah, she told me you came by.
Ooh, quite a fine Georgie boy. I didn't expect anything quite so sexy.
I hope you're referring to the manuscript.
Oui, of course. Where have you been? Nicole said you were away.
I just returned from Syria.
Syria? On the trail of the Templars?
It's a long story, but I found the bull's head. It was referred to on the manuscript, remember?
Yes, what is it?
A secret cave built into a high cliff face. In the cave, I discovered a map bearing a phrase in Latin. In occidenta cita est in ora mundi.
The island of Britain.
Lies at the edge of the world to the west.
Strange. That map seems to contain a series of pointers.
Like I said, it's a treasure map. What did you make of the manuscript?
It dates from the time of the Crusades.
We guessed that from the Templar seal.
It's a story and pictures like a modern-day comic book.
What story does the manuscript tell?
I don't know. It was probably produced for the tourist market.
Tourists?
Oh, oui, pilgrims in their thousands on their way to Jerusalem. The tourist trade is nothing new, you know. It's been around for centuries. Ever since Joshua made a packet selling souvenir bricks from the walls of Jericho.
Have you deciphered any of the images on the manuscript?
There's very little I can be sure about. The slang of the bull could be a reference to Mithras.
Who's he?
A Persian god, almost as popular as Christ at one time. The only thing I can be sure of is the knight. He's Spanish.
How can you tell that?
The writing on the shield, the reference to Ave Maria. No self-respecting knight from Northern Europe would have borne a coat of arms like that.
Can you identify the knight's coat of arms?
I already did, Georgie. He's a member of the De Vasconcelos family from the Costa Calida.
Were they famous?
No, they're not mentioned after the 15th century.
Oh.
The spotlight of history moved on. They're probably long dead.
Do you think the manuscript could be the map to the Templar treasure?
Frankly, no. That's too far-fetched. The manuscript is interesting enough and a rare find, but that's all.
Wouldn't it be terrific if it was a map, though? The treasure of the Knights Templar.
A romantic notion, Georgie, but extremely improbable.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
There was a crotchety old guy watering the lawn. If this garden was all his own work, he was more capable than he looked. Hi, is this the De Vasconcelos house?
Who wants to know?
I could tell the old coot was going to be trouble. My name's George Stobart. I was wondering whether...
The house is not open to the public.
This is the De Vasconcelos house.
And what business is that of yours, senor?
Look, all I want is to speak to the head of the household.
There is no household. Only the Countess and myself.
What do you know about the Templars?
Who wants to know?
Are you angling for a bribe or something?
You have nothing that I want, senor, except the pleasure of your absence.
The guy was obviously protecting the Countess against the whole world. But why? Tell me about the Countess de Vasconcelos.
She doesn't receive guests. That's all you need to know.
You don't even know what I have to talk to her about.
She hasn't won the lottery, has she?
No, she hasn't won the lottery.
A more cunning man might have claimed that she had.
Oh, yeah? They might have, might they?
And that more cunning man would have been kicked off the premises. The Countess doesn't do the lottery.
This lab pass mean anything to you?
Nothing.
What do you make of this?
So that's it. You're a salesman.
If I was hawking medical supplies, I can think of better places to hawk them. Okay. Well, I'll see you around.
Adios.
I'm no student of architecture, but the little building looked old. I wondered if it was some sort of summer house. Down below the estate, I could see the sea stretching away. It was a beautiful sight, and looked a lot like the scene from the manuscript. I wanted to go swimming, but I didn't have the time. Over the doorway was a statue of a hooded figure bearing a cross. It looked kind of sinister. The door was a handsome piece of work, in keeping with the ornateness of the rest of the building. Rats. It's locked. The statue on the top of the building looked like the one in the Parisian church. He seemed to be looking out to sea. For what? I wasn't about to go clambering on rooftops if I didn't have to. From a distance, I thought it might be a summer house. Close up, I wasn't so sure. I didn't want to mess with the building. The main part of the house was old, but nowhere near as old as the gatehouse section. The older part of the house looked like the remains of a castle gatehouse. Was this what the clues were pointing to? I couldn't get in that way. The hose ran from some sort of utility room all the way to the lawn. I didn't like the idea of carrying 30 yards of hose around me, so I left it alone.
Hey, you.
Yeah? What is it?
You would not like it if people just wandered into your home, would you?
Well, no, I guess not.
Then show a little consideration.
Okay. Sorry. That didn't look like a good way in. A portcullis says things a no trespassing sign never can. It was then I realized I'd left home without my pocket siege engine. I didn't like the idea of carrying 30 yards of hose around me, so I left it alone.
My hose has stopped.
Yeah?
See, my hose never stops.
Well, I'm sorry to hear it. It's always sad when an old tradition comes to an end.
Did you have anything to do with it? See, you.
Well, I'm shocked. I'm mortified. How could you think such a thing?
Very easily, senor. Very easily. I'm going to find out why my hose has stopped. And that means going into the house. You are not, absolutely not, to go in the house. If you do go in the house, I will set the dogs on you.
I didn't like the idea of carrying 30 yards of hose around me, so I left it alone. I love suits of armor. Who doesn't?
Hey, you,
Who, me?
come here. Look, senor, all I want is a quiet life. A life without mad, house-breaking foreigners in it. Understand?
Look, I just wanted to, use the bathroom.
Leave now, please.
Okay, I'm going. Must have been traveling pretty fast when he hit the wall. I didn't want an example of the taxidermist's art. A big chandelier, studded with plain white candles. Probably pretty impressive when all lit up. And it must keep the moth population down. I couldn't go up there. The armor was about my size. I had a mental vision of putting it on and clanking off to see the Countess, with the gardener hanging hopelessly on the outside trying to stop me. Apart from being stupid and unworkable, it was a great plan. The armor was about my size. I had a mental vision of putting it on and clanking off to see the Countess, with the gardener hanging hopelessly on the outside trying to stop me. Apart from being stupid and unworkable, it was a great plan. There was a big aspidistra sitting on a table in the hall. I didn't want a pot plant. He might be old, but he had the ears of a bat. This was turning out to be trickier than I'd thought.
Hey, you on the stairs.
Oops. I know this doesn't look good, but
This is the second time I've caught you skulking around in here. If I find you in here once more, I'd call the police.
there's no reason to drag the police into this. I
do not want to hear your excuses. Leave.
Okay, don't get excited. I hid behind the armor and waited for developments.
Hey, you. I know you are there, American. All right, you dogs. I'm coming.
It was a small mirror hanging over the sink. From the scum in the sink, it looked like he shaved there.
Madre Dios, who are you?
My name's George Stobart. I'm sorry to burst in like this.
You must leave at once. You're not wanted here.
Please, if you'd just listen a minute.
Very well. State your business, Senor Stobart.
There's been a series of murders, part of some conspiracy. Anyway, the trail led me here.
Here? There is nothing for the outside world here.
Over 600 years ago there was.
What do you mean?
This whole thing ties in somehow with the Knights Templar.
The Knights Templar are dust.
They had a secret that was so important, they went to a lot of trouble to hide it.
I do not see what this has to do with my family.
Your family had a strong connection with the Templars, right? I believe that they've planted some clues here.
Why should I believe a complete stranger who barges into my home?
Just let me have a look around. If I find nothing...
You'll be spending the night at the police station. Very well. Please, sit down.
Thank you. I know your family is involved with the Templars, but I don't know how.
You should be asking how my family were involved, Senor Stobart. The Templars ceased to exist centuries ago. And as for the De Vasconcelos, the line dies with me.
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
Okay, whatever happened, happened almost 700 years ago. So, if the Templars left any clues, they're going to be in stuff that dates back to the early 14th century.
Obviously.
So, what do you have around here that's early medieval?
Early medieval. Let me think. Well, the house is relatively modern, a scant 3 centuries old. Or, of course, the chess set.
That chess set is over 600 years old? It must be worth a fortune.
Indeed it is. Not that I would part with it, of course.
No, I wouldn't either. That's the sort of thing that gets handed down to your children. Sorry.
Its value is less than you might think. The set is not complete. One of the pieces is a modern replacement. As to the original, it was lost a long time ago.
Nobody has any idea where it is?
No. The children had it when they were taken.
Children? What children?
All in good time, Senor Stobart.
May I examine the chess set?
Certainly. But do not move any of the pieces.
Okay, thanks. Close up, the modern piece stood out like a sore thumb. There was something else odd about the set. All of the original pieces had irregular bases.
My lady, I have to warn you, there's a... You! Why, I feed you to the dogs.
Lopez, what have I told you about feeding intruders to the dogs?
But, my lady...
Never without my permission. Senor Stobart, if I find that you're wasting my time, You will be fed to the dogs. Now, I want to show you something interesting. Follow me. Lopez, unlock the door, por favor. This is the only remaining structure on the estate contemporary with the Templars.
Nice. What is it, a summer house?
A mausoleum, Senor Stobart.
Oh,
Come with me.
Hey, senor.
yeah?
I do not know what you have told my lady to be shown these favors, but I do not trust you.
You've got nothing to worry about. Aren't you coming in?
No, the dead do not interest me. My garden is a living thing. I will be there.
Wow, this is old.
It was constructed in the 13th century as the final resting place for the De Vasconcelos Templars.
It's well maintained.
These are my ancestors, and they deserve respect. I come here at least once a week to say a prayer for them.
Mind if I have a look around?
By all means.
Hanging from the ceiling was a huge yellowed candle. It looked really old and had never been lit. I couldn't reach up there. The mausoleum contained 5 tombs for 5 of the Knights Templar, man-size in marble. I wasn't about to start heaving at sarcophagus lids with the Countess standing there. In front of the shrine was a lectern with a Bible on it. On removing the Bible, I found a pattern on the lectern top. Hey, it's a checkerboard! Close up, I could see that the pattern was made up of glass squares over a checkerboard pattern. Some of the squares had little jagged holes in the middle. The lectern top had a pattern of glass squares on it. Close up, I could see that the pattern was made up of glass squares over a checkerboard pattern. Some of the squares had little jagged holes in the middle. A big statuette of the Virgin Mary kept an eye on the place. It was too delicate to move. It was a rod with a cone and a hook on the end. I guessed it was for snuffing out the big candle in the chandelier. Now what? There was nothing to snuff. Feeling like an idiot, I put it down again. High up in the dome were windows. I guessed they might open them to make it less stuffy in there. I couldn't climb up there without breaking something. May I ask you something?
You may ask.
What's the story with the glass chessboard?
Glass chessboard. Oh, the pattern on the lectern. Purely decorative, I'm sure.
There are pieces of glass missing from it.
Oh, it has been like that since I was a girl.
The gaps in the glass chessboard look awfully deliberate.
No, it is ridiculous. What possible significance can it have?
It's part of a chessboard, and the gaps are for...
Senor Stobart. You cannot mean...
This place was built for the Templars. Your chess set is as old as the Templars. It's kind of suggestive, isn't it? Is the Virgin Mary really the right person to be sharing a mausoleum with 5 knights?
You are showing your ignorance, Senor Stobart. The Templars were dedicated to the Virgin Mary.
That's a big candle. Where would you buy a thing like that from?
You could not. It is an antique, unique to my knowledge.
Just how old is it?
It dates from the Middle Ages, when the Moors controlled Spain. The candle was to be lit as a signal to the estate workers if the Moors attacked.
Who exactly are these people?
My ancestors. These 5 men were all members of the Templars.
5 ancestors in the order. You must be very proud.
Not 5, 6.
Where's the 6th knight?
He was lost to us.
You lost an ancestor?
It is a family matter. It can have no relevance.
Well, it's connected with the curse of the De Vasconcelos, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I hope you will honor my desire not to talk about it.
Okay, well, I'll leave it for now. I think this must be it. This is what the manuscript is pointing to.
This is extraordinary. Am I to understand that the Templars left a puzzle here? And in all of this time, we failed to realize that there was a puzzle?
It was wonderful to watch the Countess change before my eyes.
Right. Well, no time for wallowing in self-pity, eh, Senor Stobart? This mystery has had a good long run, but it ends here and now.
All those years of fatalism were falling away from her.
Lopez! Lopez! Put that horse down and listen! Go to the house and get my chess set. Yes, the old chess set! Oh, damn the game! Now, hurry! This is exciting, is it not?
Don't get too excited. This could be a blind alley.
Oh, I do not believe that for a moment.
It's good to see you happy.
Happy? You know, I think I am.
You certainly know your history.
What's your opinion of the Templars, Senor Stobart?
The Templars? Well, they seem no worse than a lot of the knightly orders.
You are mistaken. Compared to the simpering politicians of the Hospitallers or the brutish Teutonics, the Knights Templar were the embodiment of chivalry. The filthy, money-grabbing French king and his pet pope did a great wrong. A bane settled upon my family at the whim of that self-seeking tyrant.
It was all a long time ago.
Some things don't die. Injustice is one of them.
While we're waiting, I'd really like to know what happened here. I mean, the curse and everything?
It all began at the time of the dissolution of the Templars. Don Carlos had already left their ranks to become a scholar.
Don Carlos, is he the guy who went missing?
Si, but he had reckoned without the local bishop. Their bishop envied us our lands and determined to use the papal edict as an excuse to destroy us. Don Carlos was on one of his scholarly journeys when the Inquisition arrived. When Don Carlos returned, it was to find his loyal manservant slain and his children gone.
They took the kids? But why?
Oh, we will never know. The bishop denied all knowledge of the children's disappearance. But witnesses had seen his men kill the servant who had been charged to protect them.
What happened to Don Carlos?
He swore he'd find his children if he had to go to the edge of the world. He put on his armor and took up his sword and shield and rode out alone. He was never seen again. Lopez, you have the pieces.
Si, my lady, as you asked.
Por favor, Senor Stobart, would you be so kind?
My lady.
Calm yourself, Lopez. I believe Senor Stobart's motives are pure.
Very well, my lady. My lady seems to trust you.
But you don't.
No, senor.
It fits, Senor Stobart. It fits.
Working quickly, I found which pieces went into which holes.
Senor Stobart, look.
What is that? It's not the Holy Grail, is it?
No, Senor Stobart. It is the communion chalice of the De Vasconcelos, missing for almost 700 years.
Wow. Well, go on.
I cannot. I can hardly believe it is real.
Go ahead. Live a little.
Are you sure? This is your moment of triumph, Senor Stobart.
Sure, I'm sure. The possibility of death traps only occurred to me a few days later.
So the curse of the De Vasconcelos is lifted?
Oh no, the Countess was thrilled to find the lost chalice, but there's still the riddle of the missing knight.
Well, you can forget about that now and get back to finding the Templar's secret.
Actually, I promised the Countess I'd find Don Carlos.
You what?
I can explain everything.
You have got the odds for a withered old Spanish aristocrat?
The Countess entrusted me with the chalice and the quest for her ancestor's tomb.
You're as crazy as she is. Haven't you got enough problems? Khan and the Templars?
It's all part of the same thing. The chalice is important, I'm sure. The manuscript pointed us to the knight, and I have to find him.
What then?
I don't know. But when the knight and the chalice are reunited, maybe I will. This is the chalice I discovered in Spain.
I still can't figure out why the Countess gave it to you. After losing it for all those years, she simply gave it away to a total stranger? She's one prawn short of a paella.
The Countess is a fine lady. You shouldn't compare her with seafood.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's something going on between you and that Countess.
Are you serious? She's old enough to be my grandmother. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Okay.
Hi, Andre. Hello, Georgie. What do you make of this cup, Andre?
It's a 14th century communion vessel. Spanish, probably.
You sure know your onions. Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
I noticed that the stained glass window on the left looks more modern than the middle one.
You have a keen eye, monsieur. The original window was destroyed in the last war. It was as old as the church, early 14th century.
Oh, man, that's awful.
Oui, a terrible loss. Still, the church and the other windows survived.
What do you make of this chalice?
It certainly looks very old.
About as old as this church, I think.
There seems to be an engraving on it.
Yeah? What does it say?
I do not know. It is very tarnished. With your permission, I could try polishing it. I promise I will be very careful.
That'd be very good of you.
This shouldn't take very long. Feel free to look around.
Okay, thanks. Just think, there's a dead guy under there. A stone knight lay on the church floor. The second stone knight in a row of 4 lay on the church floor. A knight there in the company of his fellows. Hello again, Father. Hey, thanks.
It is my pleasure, monsieur.
What was the writing on the chalice?
It was not writing, my mistake. It was a coat of arms. The remarkable thing is that it seems very familiar.
Yeah?
Oui, I think I have seen it on that wall tomb in the far corner. That winged horse is quite distinctive.
Is the right-hand window original?
Oui, monsieur.
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Now that my attention had been drawn to it, there was no mistake. There was no name on it, but the coat of arms was undeniably the Pegasus of the De Vasconcelos family. I'd found the last resting place of Don Carlos. My eye was drawn to the biblical references carved into the edge of the tomb. Hey, maybe these biblical references mean something. Psalms 32:7, John 4:11, Corinthians 1:4-5, and just one more, Psalms 22:21. I may not be perfect, but I've got a memory like a steel trap. The chalice had led me to these inscriptions, but it looked like a happy coincidence to me. After all, the De Vasconcelos arms were already on the manuscript. Nope, I was still convinced that the chalice had some significance all of its own. Okay, let's have another look at those references. Psalms 32:7, John 4:11, Corinthians 1:4-5, and just one more, Psalms 22:21. The chalice had led me to these inscriptions, but it looked like a happy coincidence to me. I was still convinced that the chalice had some significance all of its own. Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
Boy, what a shine you got on this.
Merci. It is all in the wrist action.
You must be proud to have such an incredible collection of stained glass.
Pride is a sin, monsieur, but it is hard not to marvel when the light shines through them. It is a fine example of the artisan's genius.
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Hi, Andre. Hello, Georgie. While I was in Syria, I discovered a strange pagan statue. It was like a head with three bearded faces. Horrible.
That sounds as if it could be Baphomet, the idol described by the Templars.
The poor Knights of Christ had an idol that looked like that?
Allegedly, yeah. The description of the idol came from the evidence extracted by the Inquisition. Mind you, not one statue or idol was ever found on Templar property. Until now, that is. Just last month, a statue of Baphomet was unearthed right here in Paris.
Where?
At the Institut Hermétique de Nerval. The statue is beneath the foundations. It was discovered by some workmen while renovating the building.
Can you tell me any more about the statue of Baphomet?
It's a fearful image, even now, a bearded head. The base of the statue is carved with Templar symbols. One of the workmen noticed a curious stain at the base. He claimed it looked like blood.
Blood?
That's right.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
The gate was surrounded by some pretty fancy ironwork. I couldn't climb over. There was a telephone on the far wall. There was a closed door with toilet scratched into the cheap veneer. There was a closed door with toilet scratched into the cheap veneer.
That door is locked, monsieur.
A guard stood by a door I guessed led to the excavation. He looked pretty pompous. Well, not so much pretty, just pompous. A thermostat was mounted over a radiator. The radiator was pumping out heat as the thermostat was cranked right over to full. No wonder it was warm in here, even with the door open to the chill of fall. I couldn't imagine what I'd achieved by turning the dial. The doorway was full of assorted old tea chests, cardboard boxes, and so on, all empty and all uninteresting. The doorway led to an old utility closet that had lost its door. There was nothing interesting in there.
Hi? Excuse me? Oui?
What do you know about the Knights Templar? There was a long pause during which the guard said nothing. Then he said,
Nothing.
Nothing at all?
Is this a test?
What, like a history pop test?
No, like a test.
Okay, yes, it's a test.
Then I know absolutely nothing about the Templars.
The guard was being amazingly evasive. It was going to take more than goodwill to get past him. Trying to get into a locked washroom. I had the strongest feeling of déjà vu. I'd like to use the washroom, but the door's locked.
Oh, that's no problem. You can have the key.
Thanks. It sure is hot in here.
I have to have the door open to allow the workmen access, so why not? I turn the heat up.
You could wrap up warm.
I have my gloves if it gets cold, but why bother when it's warm anyway?
So, what exactly are you doing here?
I'm guarding. You expect to find me shearing sheep?
Take it easy. I just didn't realize you were a guard. I'd like to know what you're guarding, please.
That's a secret.
It wouldn't happen to be an archaeological site, would it?
Are you asking me or telling me?
I'm telling you.
Then why ask?
I had a feeling this was no normal hole in the ground. Talk to you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
A dumpster with some debris in it. Yep, that was definitely debris. I couldn't see any use for a collection of dirt and half bricks. A filthy wash basin hung on the wall. I didn't want to use that unless I really had to. Oh boy, dirty soap. How do they do that? The cold tap's washer looked to have failed. It was just dribbling down the sink. A bin stood in the corner. It didn't look like it had been emptied for a while. I wasn't that interested in what might go into a restroom's garbage to investigate. I didn't need to get near to tell the toilet needed cleaning. Being in a charming comfort station like this made me think fondly of the toilet in Syria. That place was kept in pretty good order. At least, it had been until I vandalized it. Still, it was all for a good cause. There was a ventilation grill up in the wall. I could have climbed onto the sink, prized the ventilator cover loose, wedged myself into the tiny hole, smashed the far cover out, and plunged headfirst into the next room. Or I could just... A huge pile of coal lay in the corner to fuel the boiler. Real high-tech stuff. I didn't want any coal. There was a big old boiler used for heating the building. The thing felt really hot. Big demands seemed to be being made on it. I figured washing my hands with that soap in that sink would just get my hands dirtier than when I'd started.
Hey, monsieur, don't go with my keys. What is it?
Here's the keys. Thanks.
Merci, monsieur.
There was a dumpster full of debris. From the excavation, I guessed.
Hey, you! Get away from my dumpster.
The painter didn't seem to regard the painting as too important. Not as important as a cigarette break, anyway. Excuse me, could you help me?
What is it?
I've got a few questions. What does the word Templar suggest to you?
Templar?
Nothing.
Nothing.
You're doing a fine job.
Merci. I have my professional pride.
I don't think I've ever seen a Gauloise smoke so stylishly.
It's a natural talent.
I'm being sarcastic.
I'm being indifferent.
You're very good at that as well.
Merci. Vive l'indifférence.
So, what are you doing here?
I am having my break.
Yeah, I mean, when you finish your break.
When I finish my break, an interesting concept, monsieur.
You'll probably need to think about it.
I could have another cigarette while I consider. Perhaps tomorrow too.
Okay, let me put things differently. What were you hired to do here?
I was hired to keep the archaeological dig in the basement of this building clear of debris, and to touch up damage to the door frames with my little pot of paint. It's a very responsible job. Unfortunately, I'm not a very responsible person.
So what do you know about the excavation?
I know they won't let me in to do my job. I would complain to my union, but là.
You couldn't be bothered to join.
Right. Tell you what, though. I'm surprised at the sort of people interested in this excavation.
What's unusual about the visitors to the excavation?
None of them look like archaeologists to me.
Do you know what an archaeologist looks like?
Three-piece suits, crocodile-eyed attaché cases, Rolex oyster.
But no archaeologist dresses like that.
Quite right, monsieur, quite right.
So, who are they?
Who cares as long as they pay me?
Be seeing you.
Au revoir, monsieur.
The painter had a pot of gunmetal gray primer hanging from the barrier. A well-used wheelbarrow was sitting by the rubble-filled dumpster. A well-used wheelbarrow was sitting by the rubble-filled dumpster.
Hey, monsieur, get away from my paint pot.
Okay.
I should think so. Meddling with a man's paint pot. Pah!
The archway was topped by a fancy balustrade. Oh, darn. I'd left my grappling hook at home. No way could I get up there. Hi again.
What is it?
I need to use the toilet again.
Again? Already?
I have this problem. How technical do you want me to get?
Never mind. Here's the key.
Talk to you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
A hand dryer was mounted on the wall. If the Club Alamut had used one of these instead of a roller towel, I'd probably still be stuck in Marib. The shovel used to feed the furnace was stuck into the pile of coal. Capacious as my pockets were, I didn't figure I could cram a shovel in them. I made an impression of the big key and the cake of soap. I carefully sprinkled the plaster into the soap mold I'd made of the key. Well, it had taken a while, but I had made myself a completely unconvincing plaster key, way too fragile to use in a lock. I'd have to substitute it for the real one. Trouble was, it looked like plaster and not metal. Then again, that plaster statue in Syria hadn't looked like stone until I'd been a bit artful with it. Maybe I could improve the key as well. No.
What is it?
Here's the keys. Thanks.
Merci, monsieur.
Hey, monsieur, get away from my paint pot.
Okay.
I should think so. Meddling with a man's paint pot. Puh.
The painter didn't seem to regard the painting as too important. Not as important as a cigarette break, anyway. I turned the heating off. Hi again. What is it? Talk to you later. Au revoir, monsieur. Hi, it's me again.
What now?
I made this key out of plaster.
A threading? How clever! How pointless.
Be seeing you.
Au revoir, monsieur.
I turned the thermostat back to where I'd found it. I turned the heating off. Hi again. What is it? I need to use the toilet again. Again? Already? I have this problem. How technical do you want me to get?
Never mind. Here's the key.
Talk to you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Do you mind if I use the phone?
Be my guest. I'm paid to guard this door. The phone can look after itself.
Killer.
Hi, Nico. It's me. I'm at the excavation site.
Hi, George. What's happening?
I'm at the excavation, but they won't let me in.
Damn. We need to know what's in there.
Don't worry. I've got a scheme. I'm going to need your help, though.
Okay. What do you want me to do?
I want you to keep somebody on the phone for a while.
Who?
A painter. I need to get at his pot.
Oh, okay.
Stay on the line. I'll go and get him.
Hey, monsieur, don't go with my keys. What is it?
Here's the keys. Thanks.
Merci, monsieur.
Hi, it's me again.
What now?
You've got a phone call.
For me? Are you certain?
It's a woman. She sounded hot.
What woman? She must be mistaken, monsieur.
Well, she asked for that hunk of a man with the nicotine fingers and his ass hanging out of his pants.
Certainly sounds like me. Stand back. It wouldn't do to keep the lady from her hunk. Well, monsieur, what a strange woman. She was all over me, and then suddenly, nothing but abuse.
Really?
What? Abuse? Ah, well, I have a cigarette to finish. And, monsieur, if she calls again, I am not available.
Hi again.
What is it?
I need to use the toilet again.
Again? Already?
I have this problem. How technical do you want me to get?
Never mind. Here's the key.
Talk to you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Quickly and without fuss, I swapped the fake key for the real thing.
What is it?
I held my breath and hoped that he wouldn't notice the substitution. Here's the keys. Thanks.
Merci, monsieur.
Hi again.
What is it?
Do you recognize this name?
No.
Talk to you later. Au revoir, monsieur.
Hi, Nico. It's me again.
I'd guessed. What do you want this time?
What did you say to the painter?
I shan't repeat it, Josh.
Look, I need to get the guard out of the way. Could you call back and ask him to get the painter again?
Okay, I'll call back soon.
This looked like a good place to watch things develop.
Hey, you. It's the phone. Yeah? Who is it? How should I know? What am I, your social secretary? It's not a chick, is it? Yes, it's a woman. Are you going to answer it? Does she have a warm, sensual voice like molten chocolate? Yes, she has a really sexy voice. Now get a move on. I'm not talking to her. I can see that. You're wasting time talking to me. No, you don't understand. I refuse to talk to her. You refuse? You refuse? I'm wasting valuable time. Don't make me laugh. Your time valuable? You just stand around all day. I have a highly responsible job. Ha, don't me, you elephantine oaf. My job is important. Impossible. They would have hired somebody competent in that case. Meaning what? Instead of which they hired a dismal rent-a-cop like you. All epaulettes and no brains.
Why, you... This looked set to carry on for some time. It was too good an opportunity to miss. Some planks used to make the catwalk were leaning against the wall. I couldn't see anything useful to do with the planks. Now there's a familiar face. There was no doubt about it. It was the same sort of idol I'd seen in Syria, Baphomet. The Templars had certainly been through here. In the middle of the floor was a weird mosaic, all swirling and distorted. Close up, the pattern didn't make any sort of sense. It fanned out around an axis point, a kind of focus to one side. Close up, the pattern didn't make any sort of sense. It fanned out around an axis point, a kind of focus to one side. And there it was, decoded by the curves of the chalice. the image of a church. I found out what the chalice was for.
You've solved the puzzle?
Yeah, there was a distorted picture at the Baphomet site. When I viewed it in the polished surface of the chalice, it changed.
What did it show?
A picture of a church with a square tower. Let's take another look at the manuscript. That's the face of the statue I saw at the bull's head. I guess I'd better return the chalice to the Countess.
Hurry back, George.
I'd been planning to return the chalice anyway, but I hadn't expected the trail to bring me here. The Villa de Vasconcelos was as picturesque as ever. The weather was still clear, and Lopez was still watering the damn lawn. I was beginning to suspect that he was surgically attached to that hose. Hi there, Lopez. How's tricks?
Senor Stobart, how pleasant to see you. You are well.
Fine, thanks. Is the Countess in?
She is waiting for you. I will show you up.
It's okay, I know the way.
Senor Stobart, I feel I owe you an apology.
No, you don't.
I was impolite on our first meeting.
Look, Lopez, just forget about it. I came on like a snake oil merchant. I wouldn't have trusted me in your shoes.
You do not understand. Finding the chalice has given my lady a new lease of life. It's a marvel. She smiles, she laughs. The tradesmen are saying that she is on Prozac.
Senor Stobart, oh, what a pleasure. Please, sit down.
Hi, Countess. The pleasure's all mine. I've brought back your chalice.
Why? You've had it cleaned.
Yeah, I met an obliging priest with a soft cloth.
Have you resolved the Templar mystery?
No, not yet. I don't even know what it is I'm after.
There are many stories of the night secreting great wealth away.
Whatever. All I know is I don't want the bad guys to get it.
Ah, to be young and live in a world of moral absolutes.
There's something else that I discovered carved on Don Carlos's tomb. Biblical references.
What are the references, Senor Stobart?
Psalms 32:7, Corinthians.
I am not a good enough scholar to know the Bible, chapter and verse. I meant, what are the quotations?
You know, I forgot to ask the priest. I discovered something amazing with that chalice. In Paris, I found a church where they recognized the coat of arms. I found the tomb of Don Carlos de Vasconcelos.
You are sure? There can be no mistake?
The coat of arms on the chalice matches the one on the tomb.
Incredible. You have my most profound thanks. I must go there as soon as possible.
Yeah? Well, I'd be happy to show you the city. I'll have a look around if that's okay.
My home is your home. I shall remain here.
An old grandfather clock stood against the wall. I doubted the Templars had hidden anything in there. There was a bookcase, bureau kind of affair. I didn't recognize any of the titles, apart from an ancient edition of Don Quixote. It was a large window with shutters. From the window, I could see some sort of balcony. It didn't look like it was used too often. It was a large window with shutters. From the window, I could see the garden, including Lopez, who was still watering the damn thing. The fire was made up and ready, waiting for the year to turn cold. It was way too warm to light the fire. Military hardware, medieval style. I came here to solve a mystery, not go jousting. There was a boar's head over the fire. It didn't look very happy. Must be hard to look happy when you're wearing a chimney breast. Now, what the hell was I going to do with a hog's head? Now, what would I want with a bunch of logs? Beside the fire was a stack of logs for fuel. The Countess de Vasconcelos seemed a lot happier than the last time we met. Hello again. Mind if I sit?
Please, be my guest.
Do you recognize this man?
No, I have never seen him before in my life. Who is he?
I've got a couple of names for him, but they're probably false. He's the killer.
No, his face is utterly unfamiliar.
I'll just have another look around.
Very well.
It was just a little utility room with no exit, unless you counted the window, and I didn't. I love suits of armor. Who doesn't? I wasn't going to put on the armor, and I couldn't see anything else to do with it. It was the Spanish Bible I borrowed from the mausoleum. I couldn't climb up there without breaking something. I couldn't reach up there. The De Vasconcelos Mausoleum, where 5 Templars lie. I didn't want to mess with the building. Now that it had given up its secret, the glass squares in the lectern were just decorative again. Hello again. Mind if I sit?
Please, be my guest.
Here's the Bible from the mausoleum.
Very well. Let us begin. The first reference.
Psalms 32:7.
Thou art my hiding place. Thou shalt preserve me from trouble. Thou shalt compass me about with songs of deliverance. My hiding place.
Don't get your hopes up too high. This might just be leading us to where we found the chalice.
You are right, of course. The next.
Okay, John 4:11.
John 4:11. Here. The well is deep. The next. Quickly.
Okay. Corinthians 4:5.
Here it is. Will bring to light the hidden things. Any more?
Just one. Psalms again. 22:21.
Save me from the lion's mouth, for thou hast heard me from the horns of the unicorns. The last is confusing. Lions, unicorns, what's it mean?
I can't guess.
Salient points seem to be a hiding place and a deep well. In no sense is the mausoleum a well, Senor Stobart.
Is there a well in the grounds?
I do not know. I suppose that there must have been once upon a time. Lopez is the man to ask about anything pertaining to the estate.
I'll have a look around if that's okay.
My home is your home. I shall remain here.
Hi, Lopez. Got a minute?
Certainly, senor. How can I help you?
What's the story behind the chalice vanishing?
When the Inquisition raided, in the absence of Don Carlos, it was believed that they had taken it. Naturally, they denied the charge, as they denied taking the children. And naturally, nobody believed them.
But they were telling the truth. The chalice was hidden from them. You don't suppose they were telling the truth about the children as well, do you?
Madre de Dios! I had not thought of that. But then what happened to them?
I don't know. If the Inquisition didn't take them, then who did?
You must speak to my lady of these.
Count on it. So the Countess feels that the curse is lifted.
I would not put it so strongly. Your discovery of the chalice was proof that the Templars never abandoned the de Vasconcelos. It counts for a great deal with my lady.
You must know just about everything that there is to know about this place.
See, I have lived my whole life here in the service of the de Vasconcelos.
Do you know of a well anywhere around here?
A well? Si, senor. This used to be a fortified villa. How can you last a siege without water?
Great. So where is it?
How should I know? The well was covered over in the last century. It was dangerous, you see.
And you have no idea where it was?
None. It was hidden even before my grandfather's time.
Well, you must have a vague idea of where the well is.
It must have been in the old house's courtyard, so that would put it around here.
Here? Okay. Now, how do we find it?
There might be a way. Let me think about it.
Any ideas yet?
Not as yet, Senor Stobart. I shall give it more thought.
Any ideas yet?
Not as yet, Senor Stobart. I shall give it more thought.
Catch you later, Lopez.
Adios, Senor Stobart.
Hanging from the ceiling was a huge yellowed candle. It looked really old and had never been lit. The candle had burnt brilliantly, but only for a couple of minutes. Some kind of special formulation, I guess. And had yielded up this. A complex shape expertly cut in stone. I figured it was some kind of key. It was a smooth, intricately carved piece of stone that had been concealed inside the great candle. I couldn't reach up there. Hi, Lopez. Got a minute?
Certainly, senor. How can I help you?
Catch you later, Lopez.
Adios, senor Tobar.
Hi, Lopez. Got a minute?
Certainly, senor. How can I help you?
Any ideas yet?
We are looking for a source of water, see?
Yes.
For generations, the Spanish country folk have had a secret way of locating water, even if it is meters beneath the ground.
Ah, you're not talking about water dousing, are you?
Eh?
You know, you get a stick and walk around until the stick twitches and dig there.
Oh, you've heard of it.
Yeah, I think most of the planet has. Okay, let's get a stick.
Uno momento. It must be a special stick, a Y of hazel.
Right. Do you have any hazel trees?
See, here. That is hazel.
Catch you later, Lopez.
Adios, senor Tobar.
The mirror from Lopez's utility room. Yep, I was still looking great. Hello again. Mind if I sit?
Please, be my guest.
There's still the mystery of that missing chess piece.
I do not think that it will ever be discovered unless the fate of the children is revealed.
The Inquisition were suspected of taking the chalice and the kids, right? We know now they were innocent of the first crime. What if...
They did not take the children either. Then what happened to them?
The Inquisition admitted to killing Don Carlos's manservant. Now, this guy had been told to protect the kids at all costs, right?
That is correct.
I think he hid them and the chalice when he got wind that the Inquisition was coming. With him dead and Don Carlos driven mad with grief, there was nobody left who knew the secret. You know what this means, don't you?
I fear so. The children are still here somewhere. If this is so, then it is small wonder that the de Vasconcelos are cursed.
What do you make of this?
It looks like some sort of key. Where did you get it from?
It was buried inside the great candle in the mausoleum.
Inside it. What have you done to it?
I, lit it.
But it is irreplaceable.
Listen, the candle was to be lit in case of Moorish attack, right? Well, it burnt down in no time and revealed this key thing. Maybe that was the real purpose of lighting the candle.
What are you suggesting?
That lighting the candle was the equivalent of break glass in case of emergency.
Sentiment must not stand in the way of solving this mystery. You did the right thing.
Does this mean anything to you?
Nothing at all.
I'll just have another look around.
Very well.
It looked a lot like a hazel tree. I went over to find a suitable stick. Aha! Hi, Lopez. Got a minute?
Certainly, senor. How can I help you?
Well, I got my divining rod. Now what?
Simplicity itself, senor. Hold the wand at the upper ends of the Y. Apply a little tension with your wrists so that the slightest movement of the wand's tip is clear, and walk slowly and steadily over the area.
Sounds easy enough. We'll find this well in no time.
Senor Stobart, you've found something.
This is it. This is where we find the secret of the Templars. Hidden here for hundreds of years. Lost from the sight of man until now. The mystery is revealed.
It's a tin can.
I've been walking up and down with a twig in my hands, looking for a tin can.
It had water in it. That's what the dowsing stick must have detected.
I'd have to check with an archaeologist, but I don't think the Templars left that.
In truth, Senor Stobart, the loan was laid many, many years ago. This can could date back to the Napoleonic Wars.
Get rid of it and I'll try it again. Lopez threw the can away. It seemed to fall an awfully long way. The splash at the end confirmed what we both suspected. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle.
It has been here all the time. All those years and nobody found it.
Stood in awe for a moment, marveling at the secrets all around us.
I could have fallen down that.
The well had been lost for decades at least. The air was cool after the noon sun, but that's not what gave me goosebumps. I have a really, really bad feeling about this. Sometime in antiquity, there'd been a rock slide. Big ones. I wished I'd had a hard hat. I'd need tools to move all that stuff, heavy equipment that just wasn't available. A great stone lion's head with a gaping maw full of fangs. As far as I knew, nobody had cast eyes upon it for centuries as it stood, waiting in the cool shadows. The words of the psalm kept running through my head, "Save me from the lion's mouth." From a distance, the lion's head had been impressive. Close up, it was frightening. Hey, one of the fangs is a separate piece. I could hear the sound of a lot of stone moving, and I knew I was in danger. Oh, very funny, you psychos.
Senor Stobart! Senor Stobart! Are you all right?
It's okay, Lopez, I'm fine.
Hey, Tuto, nada. You gave me a scare.
Nice try, Templars. In the deep shadows, it was hard to make anything out. I wished that I had Leary's flashlight now. It just felt like a pitted stone wall. I'd almost been killed for the sake of a red herring. Hi, Lopez. There's something I'd like to talk to you about.
Certainly, senor. How can I help you?
It's really dark down there. Do you have a flashlight or something?
No, I broke my torch only last month.
Damn. It's so bright up here, but the light's just not getting into the corners.
See, the light, it goes in straight lines.
Catch you later, Lopez.
Adios, senor Tobar.
So that was what a hazel tree looks like. Thinking back to how long it had taken the can to fall to the bottom, I stayed as far from the edge as I could. It was a long way down. The brilliant midday sun shone almost directly down the shaft, and I still couldn't see the water. I'd already risked my neck with one death-defying leap in Syria. I wasn't about to push my luck again. There, in the middle of the door, I could see some kind of socket. It looked like this wasn't quite the dead end it had seemed. Open sesame! Another secret door. Before I left, though, there was one last thing to do. You won't be needing that replacement piece anymore, Countess. I found it with the children. You'll probably want to be alone for a while. I'll be out in the garden with Lopez.
George, welcome back.
Come in, George. It's good to see you again.
Is it?
Sure. What did you find in Spain?
Without Andre, we wouldn't have got this far, George.
Yeah, I know. The clues led to an underground chamber at the bottom of a well. The Templars had left a tapestry showing a chessboard. The white pieces were vastly outnumbered. There was a stream running across the board, and a Templar knight on a horse.
Does it mean anything to you, Andre?
No, nothing.
Maybe we should tell Andre what else you found, George.
There's a map and a Latin inscription to the west at the edge of the world.
George found that in a cave in Syria.
Yeah, where the assassin almost killed me.
Then we've got the burning of Jacques de Molay and the date, 1314.
From the window of the church in Montfaucon Square, one of the few places where nobody tried to kill me.
Then we have the image of a church that George found at the excavation. I don't recall anyone trying to kill you there either, George.
And finally, we have the tapestry in Spain. Did I mention I almost got killed there?
Not yet, but I'm sure you're about to.
It was only my cat-like reflexes that saved me from certain death.
Cat-like reflexes, eh?
And while I was risking life and limb, where were you, Andre? Getting your glasses fogged up over an Etruscan vase?
That's enough, boys. Can we get back to saving the world?
Of course. My apologies.
He started it.
Well, the Latin phrase are the words of Julius Caesar. He was describing the island of Britain.
Are you sure? The map didn't look much like Britain.
How come Caesar described Britain as being at the edge of the world?
To the Romans, the Mediterranean was the center of the universe. Britain was a remote, unfriendly place, inhabited by blue-painted savages.
It hasn't changed much,
They've stopped painting themselves blue.
except when they go to a football match.
They used an extract from a plant called woad, Icetis tinctoria. The Scots were using it until fairly recently in the wars with the English.
Fairly recently? I don't recall the Scots being at war with the English. How recently are you talking about?
I believe William Wallace's men used it in the 13th century. They might well have been using it as late as...
You can't remember, can you?
1314.
Ah, we're back onto that, are we?
Andre, what is it? What do you mean?
1314 in Scotland. The Battle of Bannockburn.
That would explain the stream on the chessboard. That's what a burn is. Right, Andre? As in Bannockburn?
Right, George. And it gets better. Tradition has it that the Scots were helped by a shock force of, well, can't you guess?
Knights Templar?
Yes, a group of outlawed Templars. They are said to have turned the tide for the Scots.
And it all ends at a church in the Isle of Britain at Bannockburn in a church.
What are we waiting for? I'll call a cab.
I can't go.
Andre, you've been loads of help, but
What George is trying to say is that you shouldn't feel guilty.
I was.
We understand you've got commitments. Listen, we have to hurry. Let's go, George.
We'll see it through. Oh, and, don't worry about us.